And we are live. Yes, I know it's the wrong background, but it's better than Windows to our mind, I guess. How are you, Cole?
Pretty decent. How about you?
Doing great, man. And just to pretend we have content, let's have a long and drawn out intro so I can have like three different timestamps. So let's pretend to be like The Walking Dead, like having empty discussion. What have you been up to since you took a break?
Oh, just been mainly focusing on work a bit and trying to relax more while on the side trying to get more into writing again and other stuff. But yeah, just trying to take it a bit easy. And then recently there's for the past like week or so run into a bunch of issues that kind of got made me pissed. But today's been a bit better. So
Well, at least today is a bit better. It's one thing. Um, I'm glad you're there, man. I miss these days we used to talk every week at least once. Um, but yeah, hello children, multi and call specific. Hi, DC. Um, so yeah, today we got two topic, but let's just stretch a bit the intro there. Um, I'm done writing my first novel, and I already started a sequel. Of course, we will have rewrites, and you know me, I always see big, right? And eventually, once the saga is done, right? I don't know how to say it, but once I'm done writing the saga, um, what will basically happen? I will translate it, and I'm someone that wants to put the story before everyone ears and eyes. So maybe movie adaptation in the future. Maybe I see a bit too big, but I mentioned that because man, I know you like screenplays and such. So maybe I will require your help, man, if you're willing to. But this is like in the long time because it's a saga and I see big. Any
oh yeah,
thoughts on that?
with for me,
Yeah, I will require
yeah,
your
yeah,
help,
for
man.
sure, possibly, yeah, that would be fun. Of course, I'd have to see, how the future goes. Don't know yet, but yeah, that could be fun for sure. Could definitely ask Alex for help as well, since he's actually done that stuff a lot. Made
Yeah,
some.
I actually tried and Alex didn't reply to me, so I don't know if he likes the idea or not. Or maybe he's just
Uh,
too occupied. Or maybe
yeah.
he's too shy and he doesn't want to tell me he's not interested. I don't know what's up. Maybe he hates my take. Maybe that's one thing. Um Forcefully. Like in this.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, you got
Yeah.
it right, Dre. You got it right.
Yeah, he's probably busy with his films, I guess, but he does like we do message time to time just talking about like recent films he's seen. Like he saw that Late Night with the Devil film today, I guess, which is on the schedule at a later date when it releases digitally. And
Is it good?
he said he liked it, but yeah, there are issues with it, and I agree, I liked it, but there are issues, kind of wasted potential. They didn't really do the best job of like making it feel like old, like the time period with the cameras and stuff. It was shot with like modern digital cameras, and the effects, like they tried to make it look 70s with effects, and it just wasn't convincing at all. Which he said, which I agree with. A better, I just wish they would do a better job with that. Some films, like, I know you didn't like the Lighthouse at all, but they use very old cameras for it where they kept breaking all the time, and that's why it looks so amazing and looks like an actual like old film from like the 1910s or whatnot. And many other films had done it too. For two other examples that are sort of like Late Night with the Devil, even though you haven't seen any of them, I would say WNUF Halloween Special and Ghost Watch would be better examples of like what it tried, but it was still pretty solid film overall though, even if I prefer those, which Ghost Watch would be fun to cover though if you ever do in the future, just because of the stories behind it. Basically it was a Halloween special on BBC, and it was made to look like a real authentic like special or documentary about a possession in a family, and everybody thought it was real. Well, not everybody, a lot of people thought it was real because it was convincing a lot of points and it freaked out a lot of children. And there's a phone number on it when they were showing it live where they could call and it would inform people that it was actually fake. However, so many people were trying to call it that it broke down so that they didn't get the message out. So a lot of people thought it was real, and then some teenager offed himself afterward because of it. So yeah, pretty
That's
wild
dark.
story.
That
Yeah, but
went dark quick. It's like, oh
yeah,
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 that guy died. It's like, okay.
yeah. It's a wild story, so it could be interesting to cover. But yeah, I mean, solid film though. Whenever you get to it, Late Night with the Devil. Like I don't know if you know the main actor in it, but he's been in a lot of films as a side character. This is like his first lead role. He played like Polka Dot Man in the Suicide Squad.
I
So yeah.
haven't seen the Suicide Squad yet.
Oh, you haven't? Ooh, okay.
No. Eventually I
Oh well,
will,
he
most
was. I
likely.
mean, if you
But
remember his character in Prisoners, he was like the character where they break into his house thinking he had stuff to do with it, and there was photos and clothes everywhere, and then he offed himself in the police department. If you remember his character at all, he was like drawing the circles and mazes.
to be honest, I don't. We've
Okay,
seen
fair enough.
so many movies. It's funny how I kept registering stuff on Letterbox, and I realized there's a bunch of missing stuff that we did cover. It's just crazy. I like that. I'm proud of covering that many movies
Yeah.
and
Well,
such.
hey, Letterbox will help you keep track of it at least with all the ratings now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's funny now we kind of close off that intro very soon, and we will dive deep into Resident Alien shortly. But man, I finished to put together and to edit. I finished to edit the compilation for the 100 episode for
Well, that's
season
cool.
one. It's 5 hour and a half. Season
Damn.
one. And that was the shortest season, man. So, like tomorrow, I will finish season two because I did start to edit season two. I think I did like a quarter of it, but tomorrow I'm brave. I will finish season two, and Sunday I will at least start season three. So next weekend I finish season three, but it's a compilation, and um again, we won't cover the entire thing because I don't want the stream to last 20 hours. But for whoever is interested enough to see a supercut, well, the supercut will be available after the 100 episode stream. So right now it's uploaded the season one, but I unlisted it because I don't want to reveal it yet. And
Nice.
I marked down the timestamps, so it will be very easy for me to select what I really want to react to in the 100 episode. So yeah, that will be fun. There's
Yeah.
like maybe 5 or 6 moments in that 5 hours that I'm like, we will react to that. That's not just a super.
Nice, nice. Yeah, well, look, they must have got to multi to, edit Zack Snyder's Justice League as well, so that's nice. But, yeah.
It's an IFA, but like multi-topic talk and our circle version of it.
Yeah, I mean,
Why
season
not
one
the
is just going to
bigotry?
be us roasting She-Hulk, because that's the only good thing with season one, basically.
Dude, you're damn right. Like half of the footage, I can swear there's at least in these 5 hours, at least an hour dedicated to She-Hulk.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure, and I'm sure there's gonna be many moments you forget about after you make it that you're like, "Oh, damn, that was too," you know? Like, what about the moments where, Chillmonger was getting annoyed with us for having issues with the lighting in films?
Yeah, and it was a great trip to memory lane. I enjoyed making it, and
Yeah, like when we covered the Rocky films, that was great, and then you
what?
said you
Yeah,
were
that's
gonna.
season two. That's
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
season
yeah,
two.
and then you said you were gonna work out by the end of the year inspired by the Rocky films, and you know what? You lived up to it, so good job.
Yeah, and I lost weight, and I realized rewatching that, bruh, like I look slimmer, like a lot.
Yeah,
And the worst in that, in the last 2 months, because my schedule was hectic, I wasn't really able to be as good with my diet, and I kind of stopped working out. But I will get back at working out like by the end of March if my schedule doesn't change. But the sole fact that I was able to maintain what I lost is an accomplishment in itself, I think, in my eyes. So that's
yeah,
just amazing.
yeah. It really is amazing, and hey, if you whenever you get to your final goal in the future, like whenever that is, you should do like the profile picture, sort of like that you have on your Facebook right now. Just do like a before and after post with it.
Yeah, I will do that for sure, and I will celebrate, man. I will. I got so many things once I get to the weight I want to have.
Oh
Um,
damn! When's your birthday, Sparkles?
Happy birthday, Sparkle. Um, but yeah, I got so many things going on. Like one thing I will do to celebrate is drinking beer because I barely did drink. Like I do drink sometimes, but really like on special occasion. Like the last time I did was an Easter, and like before that, that was like January with one of my friend because we always get wasted.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, that was like Christmas and like New Year Eve. So like in the last now it's 9 months. In the last 9 months, I maybe did drink maybe 5 times, but they are very like far from each other apart. And I will admit, I miss the taste, man. It's not necessarily the feeling that I miss because I was never really drinking for the feeling, but
Yeah, I
I
mean, if I drink for the feeling, I usually just drink vodka drinks. Like beer, it's for the taste. And if people say beer tastes disgusting, I'm sorry, you need to like go to a good like bar and get some craft beers. All right, and then you'll
yeah
change your mind.
yeah
Oh, so that's nice, Sparkles. That would actually your birthday would then be on like Tuesday, wouldn't it be on the stream? So that's cool.
most likely. Oh yeah, you're right. So we will celebrate. But I I miss the taste, man. And it pains me because I do have the money and I'm so tempted, but I'm like, it's part of my diet. I need to cut that. And
Yeah, it
the
really
one
does help.
thing I
Just that and white sugar.
that's the one thing I was able to keep up with, like keeping tab on, because it was easy for me to cut it off and art at the same time. Like it was easy because I'm like, okay, if I want to cut it off, I can simply stop buying it. But it was hard because I missed the taste.
Yeah, I will say it's definitely not the same whatsoever. But if you were looking for like a substitute in some way, then a better alternative while trying to lose like weight would be possibly if you're a fan of wine at all, like some of that could like once a week or something, or like once every 2 weeks, as an alternative if you need it, and if you're into wine as well. It would only be like super bad though if you have also like high blood pressure, then don't do it.
Graves name right. I didn't realize we were in April.
Yeah.
Oh, L. By the end of April, I should say. But
Yeah, by the end of April, yeah, we can just say that's a late April Fool's joke by Multi.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I've still kind of lost. I think it's like the long term effect of like drinking for years. Like I wasn't really an alcoholic necessarily because I was able to like tap out of it, and like when I drink I don't fall back into it. So that's why I don't think I'm alcoholic or anything, but it's still like really bad even if you drink casually. Um so that was the very interesting intro, and I mark it down here. Intro. And now we
Yo,
will get
fucking cat's trying to disconnect my headset. Can you please stop it?
yeah, I've seen it, DC. I've seen it. Um I've seen it.
Yeah, you
But
should have done one this year where you start the stream on Monday on the first and say, we're I'm kicking Gray and Alex from the group. They don't do enough. Instead, I'm bringing in Nerdman and MSK, and then
next year.
also yes, and then also all of our topics will only be Mega Shark films and everything recommended by Marvel.
I didn't thought of it, like I was in a weird space because it was the Easter weekend and I did see my family. So I was in a weird place,
I
but yeah,
Yeah,
so let's get right into it. Resident Alien Season 3. Oh my. Let's start off with episode 8. Okay, what did you think of episode 8?
uh, it was kind of decent, kind of not. It was at least expected to have moments, considering a lot of it was filler this season up until the finale. I felt like I was kind of watching Titans all over again, except this time there are far more positives in the show than Titans. This was
You know
most
it's quality. You know it's quality when you bring up Titans. But keep going,
yes.
bro.
Yes. Well, look, the most disappointing thing I think in this episode was, sadly, the acting. Usually, it's a strong point of this show and this season, but this, for me at least, especially the lead, but this time including the lead, honestly, I thought kind of phoned it in this last episode. I don't know when they filmed it, but yeah, especially. I mean, it did have some cool scenes, so I enjoyed, especially in the beginning. I thought the score was used better this time. There was some sound design I really liked. They got to the point in scenes more in this episode, which was expected, obviously, because a lot of it beforehand was filler. The humor, yeah, wasn't good nor bad in this episode to me, unlike like every other episode for me this season where it was either good or terrible. It didn't because it didn't make me laugh in this episode, but it didn't make me cringe either. The visual and practical effects in this show is usually like 60-40, with being, and I say 60-40 instead of 50-50 because it is a sci-fi show and it is a made-for-TV show, so I'm not expecting it to be amazing, but but then it also usually surprises me for how decent it is for that, or it's either like on par with Plant 9 from Outer Space at points. This time, it had a mix of both, so it really was a mixed bag for this finale. I enjoyed most of the scenes with the supporting cast in this episode. Unfortunately, by the end of it, though, I felt like their characters didn't lead to much this entire season, which sucked. There were good moments and bad moments between them, and dependent on which ones, throughout this season. But I thought it would pay off in the end more than it did. Sadly, it didn't really pay off too much, at least in my opinion. There were fantastic moments with with some of them in this episode, and I thought provoking elements at a couple points, but it didn't really fit too well with the previous episode's themes to me, lining up well. I wish they balanced them out better where it would have hit harder. Didn't really feel much of anything because of that. There were a lot of shortcuts taken in how they edited this episode as well. throughout. It's always sort of been there, but not as grossly as this episode. You can notice just the cheapness to it. There would be many scenes where it's like a student project with the editing in between people being thrown or punching others, and other moments where it's used to hide shit to save their budget, so they don't show the full thing.
You did
I didn't
rubble
get that too much.
the budget. Oh, you did cut off
Yeah,
after the
I didn't
budget.
get it too much. Oh, sorry, I did. Yeah, sorry. I was just saying, so they don't show the full thing usually. I didn't get that like too much in the previous episode. They showed a fair amount in those action scenes. The moment with those flashbacks, where the one character kind of recognizes him while holding him up was fucking horrendous too. It was the type of scene you would see executed in a Steven Seagal straight to DVD action flick. I at least love the setups for next season with the characters. I hope the next season will be the last, but it probably won't be. I think they'll try to push this to 5 or 6 seasons at minimum, since it's probably cheap to make. But yeah, I don't know. God, like I just also regarding the tribute at the end, in case you were confused by who the hell that was, I searched up and it was apparently some Native American consultant on the show for the first 2 seasons for accurate portrayals of them. But just to add that there, I guess. But
That's interesting. So that's why there's no big backlash about how they benefit from that culture.
yeah, like god damn it, I just need to like try to pull this up. Like I'll let you go now, but I'm gonna try to like pull up this one scene on mute. I won't show too much so we don't get copyrighted. I'll show like fucking 8 seconds and I'll mute. But good
Yeah.
lord, I need to show this because this was horrendous. I laughed. This is literally like some of the worst editing ever. I've seen fucking porn parodies edited better than this.
You know something went wrong when it's happening. But that season is exactly what you said. It's a mixed bag. So to keep the focus on episode 8, I will say I was shocked on how good this episode was, because every other episode this season was either godly awful or great. So it's like the most messy thing I did witness. And I'm like, why? What happened? Did you fire the team that worked on season 1? Because like I don't get it. I just don't. Ow. Anyhow, um so yeah, episode 8, I enjoyed it. And Shocker, I had no issue with that one whatsoever. And it's funny because
Wow.
episode 7, that was the same thing. So either I lowered my standards or I got used to mediocrity with freaking Walking Dead. I'm I'm not joking here. I'm shocked. Like, I genuinely enjoyed both episodes, and I'm surprised I could not find issues with any of these two. So either I'm just used to mediocrity now, or I genuinely think these are two really strong episodes we got in a row. But again, it's a shocker. It's a shocker because there are so many episodes this season I despise so much. Um, it's it's weird. I'm really like, it's a mess. I'm a mess.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I'm only gonna show 6 seconds from without. Look at this editing. Look how bad this. What the fuck am I
Pause,
watching?
pause, pause,
Look,
pause, pause, pause.
yeah.
You're damn right.
Like what the fuck is this?
What happened?
What?
What
I
happened?
don't know. It's like they had to reshoot scenes and they're trying to like stitch it together. This is so shit. What the
Yeah,
fuck? And this editing happened throughout this whole episode. Like the editing has never been that good in this show, but it's never been this bad before. What the fuck is this?
but there's one thing I will admit about this season. Um, there is character growth for some of the cast. and I did enjoy the shit out of it. But yeah, episode 8 is, I believe, probably my favorite episode we had since season 1.
Damn,
And you know me,
I'm
I
not
hated
surprised.
season 2. And
Yeah,
I hated most of season 3 as well. So yeah, I'm shocked. And what shocks me as well is episode 7, it's the same deal, but I think 8 is slightly better. Maybe it's because there's more flashy stuff and more action. And without going into spoiler for Gray, the cliffhanger, god damn. I wasn't
cliffhanger.
I
You think Gray's gonna watch this?
Yeah, he is somewhere in season 2. That's what they told
Oh right,
me.
I forgot he started watching this. Right, yeah.
Yeah, but um so I wasn't hyped with season 3 with season 2 cliffhanger, but with season 3 I'm actually hyped about season 4. I want to see what happens
Yeah,
next.
yeah.
But I'm also
I'm
worried.
excited.
I am also goddamn worried because they can mess up so easy with that one. It's like
Oh
obvious.
yeah,
Like either it will be the best season of the show or it will be the worst season of the show. It's one of the two. There's like no in between.
pretty much, pretty
It's
much.
it's just impossible that it will be in between. Either it will be a masterclass or it will be dog shit.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get like a Doom Patrol situation with it, but I, I don't know how much further they can, how many more ideas they really have for the show. But again, I feel like they're gonna try to push it for as long as they can, just because it's so cheap to make.
I will also say this. Like I really hope this will be season 4 the final season or season 5 will be the final season because just like
And I
what you
hope it's
said, just like what you said, I don't think they have much ideas. Like I'm not saying that season 3 lacked ideas. They surprised me. They did really good things in it. But I feel like Ari's character got the peak of his growth, and the same goes for the rest of the cast. Because now we got like perfect deconstruction of like everyone else around, and I just don't see them expanding more on these character. Like maybe season 4 can send off their stories on a good way, but I just don't see them having great character arc with season 4. I will be shocked if season 4 they have more character growth than what they had with season 3. Especially with like Sheriff. So now I guess it's to talk about the entire season, except if you'd like to add more about episode 8 specifically.
no, that's about it.
So did you gave a score to episode 8?
I did. I gave it around like a 5.5.
That was your average this season based on what you remember from your notes.
Yeah, it's actually like one of my lowest, just because it was kind of disappointing to me. If I mean, at least with like what I remember, it again, there were great moments in it, but there was some poor filmmaking that, unlike episode 7, I think it had pretty good filmmaking for the most part in episode 7, even if I wasn't too into it. Compared to you, probably just didn't feel the tension and whatnot, or got invested as much. But see, episode 8 was just poorly made to me. And again, I agree with you with the character stuff that was interesting, but again, with what they did leading up to it throughout the season, it just felt like disconnected. I wish there was more connection throughout the season, leading up to it, in my opinion, than there was. Like, not to say that there wasn't or they didn't try to throughout the season. I just thought they did a poor job with it, though, until episode 8. So because of that, I didn't really care.
And you know what? It's not really in my notes because that wasn't as bad as season 2, but I still freaking hate Darcy. Like, why? I hate her so much. I swear that's most likely one of the writer inserting herself in the show. Like, there's no way it's just someone that really came from someone mind in the writing staff. It's obvious for me, like it's one of the writer in the room that's like, I will
Hmm.
insert myself into it because, like, again, I have nothing against self inserts if it's done properly. I myself, I'm an hypocrite because in my novel, a lot of the aspect of my main character is based on me, but most of it is different from me. But I insert a lot of myself into it, so I get it's writer you can insert themselves into it, right? Like, it's easier to write something you can relate to, and speaking about yourself in your writing, it's goddamn easy. But yeah, uh, um Sparkle, the thing is, right now it's in French, but eventually there will be a translation of it. um but yeah, again, um which writer multi, she was from season 1. Well, how can you aid Darcy? She kissed the mayor. Which writer, multi? She was there from season. Well, in season 1, she had a small role, Gray. Like, she wasn't as prominent. Prominent, is that a word? Now I feel like with season 2 and 3, they gave her so much of the spotlight. Like, they went really hard on her, and I feel like as much as I hated her guts in season 2, she got more growth in season 2 than 3. Let's be frank and honest there. She got more growth in season 2. In season 3, all we got is, oh, now she realized, like, she's flawed. And that's it. So yeah, it's she went hard on the mayor. Fact. Speaking of the mayor, am I crazy to say that this character just doesn't progress or grow, Cole?
Yeah, no, I agree.
The
There
same
were
goes with his
definitely,
wife.
yeah, there were definitely just supporting characters throughout this season. Where again, this is what I mean. Like episode 8, they had great moments with them in episode 8, but throughout the rest of the season leading up to it, there was just nothing. They didn't progress with them at all. They're kind of just like they feel almost like fucking characters in like Family Guy. That's what it fucking feels like at this point. It's like they just don't have any care anymore.
Yeah, and it's sad because I will repeat what I said in a past stream. I feel like each time we get the mayor and his wife, they're together, and all the time it's the same storyline. Oh, they disagree on something, and the conclusion of it is one of them will agree with the other, and that will be the end of the conflict. It's like, it's okay as a method of writing, but if that's the only idea you have for them, why bother? Like, it's filler. It's filler. Any thoughts on that, Cole?
I agree, it's filler, but most of this season was sadly filler. It wasn't bad, poorly done, like uh, a lot of moments in season 2 were, even if I still thought the season was overall all right. But it's definitely filler.
Yeah. So now that, so yeah, I forgot. Like, my brain is fried. I forgot if I mentioned my grade out of 10 for episode 8. But for me, episode 7 and 8, they are both 10 out of 10s. They are,
Yeah,
like, since season 1, again, they are some of the tops one. Sadly, I cannot really remember well season 1. I remember enjoying a lot of it, and I remember giving,
yeah,
like, season 1 a 9.7, 9.5. I can't
yeah.
remember
You really
which
loved
one.
it. That's all I remember. And then season 2 was like a fucking 7 for you or something.
Yeah, and sadly, like, these 10s, I don't know if they scale as high as the ones in season 1, because even if I enjoyed episode 8, I don't see myself rewatching it. And I remember saying something about season one, being like, you know what, I see myself rewatching it. But here, I maybe episode 8 because there's action, but even there, I feel like the show wasn't shining for its action, it was shining for its character and its story overall. Hell, the humor it was on point, but that was just a season 1 thing because season 3 was a cringe fest. Um, so okay, the overall season. Um, I don't have with the entire season many issues because here's the thing: we spent like 2 months watching it, so I didn't binge watch it, and it's just based on what I remember and based on most of my notes. Um, no, I said cringe fest. Um, no, I didn't say that. I said cringe fest. Did you understand cringe fest? Cole.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so okay, that's reassuring. Um,
yeah, all
so
good.
yeah, that's cringe fest. But yeah, again, this season, I'm sure if I binge watch it, I don't think I will because I don't like this season. But um, I can bet if I binge watch it, I will find more issues. But because it was spread over like 2 months, it's just based on my notes. So my first issue would be the humor was bad in the overall season. I could tell and feel it. It's sad. Because again, I thought in season 1, even 2 had great humor. Most of it. I had some issues here and there, but most of it, the humor was solid. And it did hold up. But season 3, the humor is just straight up bad. I feel like they missed marks so much more than they did in the past. It's shocking. Like, yeah, almost like I'd say 50% of this season I had at least half of the humor not working out. Not funny, not funny, not funny. Yeah, basically, Gray, you read my mind. Um, but my next issue with the overall season would be the pacing of the show wasn't great since they told a 5 or 6 episode story in 8. By trimming down episode and smashing episode together, it would flow a lot better. Any thoughts on that, Gray? Not Gray, Ed Cole. Sorry, I'm used to Gray
Yeah,
now.
I agree.
Okay. Um. So my last issue is the season wasn't consistent since many episodes were really bad and others were great. So there was really like no in between. There's like these top tier and then there's these rock bottom that I don't know who came up with this shit, who greenlit it. It's I it's beyond my understanding, man. Any thoughts on that, Cole?
Uh, sort of agree. Yeah, I would say it's more so. Just they should have honestly scrapped some of these characters. I think that's would have been better. But
um
that's my opinion.
So these are my dislikes. I still have more likes. The story was entertaining, and I marked down most of it because there's part of it, like the mayor stuff that I mentioned, is not part of the entertaining stuff. But like most of the story was cool with the Greys and stuff. Yes, Grey, I said the Greys. Ari was amazing. Asta was cool. Asta is like the queen of the show, man. Like, give me more of her, man. I want to see more show with the actress. The action was entertaining. I feel like this season had a lot more action than past season, and that's interesting. Any thoughts on that, Cole?
Yeah, well, I mean, not too surprising considering the premise and everything of the season compared to the other seasons. Make more sense that there's a bit more action here, and the previous ones were more of just dramas. So makes sense. Well, drama comedies and everything.
Yeah. My next stop would be Sheriff and Deputy were probably the best supporting character outside of Asta. Any thoughts on that, Cole?
Uh, yeah, but I mean, it's not saying too much. What else is there?
Yeah, you're right. Like, there's Mare and his girlfriend that I want to forget they existed. There's the kids. There's Darcy that it's like 50-50. Either she will be great or she will get under my skin. Um, you're right. It's actually challenging. And I feel like, yeah, that's the cast. And there's one strength I kind of see after talking a bit about the show is the cast is small, and that's a strength. There's not like freaking 40 character and half of them are forgettable. Like most of them, I'm like, I know their names, or like maybe not deputy or sheriff, but I know their characters at least. Um, but Asta, Darcy, you see, like the cast is small, so it gives a chance for most of them to grow outside of the mayor and his freaking girlfriend. Uh, hell, like um, Judy was terrible, but they barely spent time on her, so that was a great thing. Do the kids get less annoying? Well, great. I will say this: they get less screen time. Is it fair to say, Cole? They get less screen time.
Um, God, I don't. I mean, they get. I mean, yes, they do get less screen time, but I mean, it's not that much less than the others. I don't know. Not much of a difference.
Yeah, so I will say Gray, they are still kind of annoying a bit, but they get less screen time. So for me, they were not as annoying as season 2 or 1, but they are also a really strong plot device for season 4 Whiteout spoiler. And this is why I'm like, either they will mess that one up really hard or it will be a banger. It's one of the two. Like, let's hope they have the firepower to let's hope they have the firepower, to be honest. Yeah, let's hope the best. So, I know you probably didn't note it, but I did. My worst 3 episodes this season were episode 4, episode 2, and episode 6. So for me, episode 6 was a 5.5 out of 10. Humor didn't land with Darcy. The second scene with Ari and the lover wasn't funny. They overdid the pigeon message joke, turning it unfunny. Darcy blowing up the way she did got under my skin and made her freaking one dimensional and nerve wracking, if I can call it that way. The
Mm-hmm.
helicopter sequence was another pathetic attempt at humor. Not funny internet joke. So that episode for me was a 5.5. That's low for this show. Um Next up was episode 2. Telling instead of showing, not funny. The mayor girlfriend is one dimensional since she didn't change in 3 seasons. She must always contradict the mayor. Not funny. Mayor and his girlfriend always had the same kind of lazy storyline. Humor did tone clash with the sadness between Ari and Darcy. Not funny. 5 out of 10. And lastly, the worst episode this season. It's probably not that far behind the worst episode in season 2.
Gray says it sounds hilarious from your description.
Yeah, that was the point, Gray. But yeah, maybe you will like it more than me. Maybe. But again, episode 4 for me was really bad. Not funny, the humor just doesn't work. The mayor and his girlfriend, everything was filler. The humor didn't land. Not funny, one joke clashed the tone of a scene meant to be sad, not funny. The mayor's family dinner. Eater is forgiving. Um, can't remember what I refer to there. Filler episode forgettable. 4 out of 10. It's not that far behind that shitty episode in season 2 with like the social issues. If you know what I mean. Did the mayor wife get a downgrade, or is the girlfriend a new character? Um, the girlfriend is a new character. Um, and she's actually freaking better than the mayor's wife. It's hilarious. What did you think? Like, am I accurate in my statement? Cool. Eater was better than freaking wife mayor.
What Heather? You mean? I mean, is that
Yeah,
how you pronounce her name? Yeah.
Heather.
No, no. What? Way better. I actually really this season. I really actually liked the scenes with Harry and Heather. I
So
think that was one of
again,
the best
she had maybe let's put together all of the stuff she got. She maybe had like one entire episode dedicated to her. I know she was there for longer than this, but let's just smash all of her scenes together. She most likely has one entire episode dedicated to her, and I can mention her name, right? And I remember her characteristic, what she brought to the show, what she brought to Aerie. That was goddamn good. So they know how to do some things right, but that's only some of the things. Um, so yeah, next up would be my top three with episode 8, 10 out of 10, episode 7, 10 out of 10, and episode 3, this one is far away behind. Let me see it. Okay, that was the 9.5. Lightning issues and Judy character. Oh, that was the freaking trashy Judy episode. Well, it's not trashy because it's my top 3, but if I remember aiding Judy, god dang, that was a good thing. They freaking got rid of her. Like, what they were thinking? Like, really? Like, isn't it like a Twitter moment that episode? Like, you remember that one, right? Yeah, Sparkle. Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, okay. So I don't have much more to say here. Do you want to add more about Resident Alien Season 3, Cole?
No, that's about it. And I sadly don't remember the episodes too much to like give a proper ranking. But if you want me to guess, like I kind
Yeah,
of
I
like
guess.
the beginning episodes. Well, some of them. I would say my top three, if I had to guess, would be episode 2, which was one of your worst. Actually, I'm surprised, but
I
okay,
hated the shit. I won't
okay,
forget I've seen it.
okay. But I would say episode 2, episode 3, and episode 7, and 3 and 7 were a bit lower for me than when I sent in the thing. But thinking about them more, they went up for me. And then my worst ones would be probably episode 5. What? Sorry, not episode. Actually, yeah, episode 5. Uh, episode 1, which I liked that a lot at first just because of some setups that I found interest in, but the more I think about it, the episode really just didn't work. And then episode 8, which I just thought, I'm sorry, the finale wasn't good.
Yeah. Um. So, have a good day, DC. So, I will say this season for me is a 7 out of 10. Um, what about you, Cole?
Yeah, I would give it like a. Again, I gave this episode a 5.5. I'd probably say it's somewhere around that range as well for the whole season, like a 5.5 or a 6 out of 10, I would say. So I would say it's higher than season 2, which I would give like a 5. Thinking back on it now, I think I went a bit easier on season 2 at the time. But yeah.
And it's sad because again, I remember enjoying season 1. It just fell off a cliff with season 2, and it didn't
Yeah,
really get back up for me with season 3. Um
yeah. It
and
just nothing really feels like season one. There's actually some, not only some great like character moments and comedy and everything, but there actually felt it felt like there was some actual like great tension throughout the show in the background, and with when he first showed up and with his own species and everything, it felt like there's actually something there that is just missing in these other seasons, like despite them trying to like introduce new species and as threats, just doesn't really I don't really feel that anymore.
me neither. Um I agree with you. But I gotta admit the lore is cool. And the parody
Yeah, yeah,
aspect,
the lore is cool. I just it's missing the tension though.
yeah, and the parody aspect of like sci-fi culture and such is well done. That's like one of the strength of the show. So, before we really move on to Invincible, any expectation from season 4?
Nope, not really. I'm just in more so interested in like what was it called again? The Mantis character there. Yeah, interested in that. That's about it.
I really hope it's the final season. Finish the
Yeah,
show
I hope,
like,
but I doubt it. Oh yeah,
yeah.
right. Also, the one character discovering that alien. That'll be interesting now.
And I can't remember if I gave a 7 to Doom Patrol season 4, but I'd say Doom Patrol season 4 was better than this. If I gave it the same score to both,
Yeah, yeah, I
Doom
would
Patrol
say
is better.
it's better, but yeah.
So,
Now it can definitely go down from here for sure. But anyway,
yeah, Invincible. I kept it last for many reasons.
right.
First of all, I adore this season. Second, maybe K Dot will show up. Maybe Gray if he has the time to show up. That's why we kept it last. Hell, that episode was a banger. I liked it so much.
Oh
It
yeah, it was
wow.
amazing.
The entire season was wow.
Yep.
And I have expectation from season 3, like really high now, because they can do so many good things. Now, I don't know if we can spoil it, so I will ask the chat. Gray, can we spoil it or we need to be lightweight on spoiler? I don't know if you had time to watch it, Gray. So that's why we ask. Did you have time to watch it? So let's see. Did he have time? I
Yeah,
mean,
we
we
are
are
talking
talking
about
about
it
it
on
on Tuesday
Tuesday
too,
too.
right? Yeah. Well, if we talk about it right now, maybe not Tuesday. That's the thing, Gray. If we talk about it right now, we won't need to talk about it Tuesday.
Yeah.
Um, because we
So
most
basically, up to
likely,
him.
yeah. Um, but if Gray and I don't talk about it right now, and it's just me and you call Tuesday, it will be a topic for sure. Um, but if Dre's join us, that will be one topic down for Tuesday. Um, so yeah, I had a blast. So let's start off with episode 8, and I will let you start so I can find my notes. So what did you think of episode 8?
Right. Yeah. This was God. Incredible episode as usual. Just this whole season for me was incredible. Another masterful episode to me. Oh, hi, Gray. But yeah,
Hi,
just
Gray.
really did
How are you, Gray?
this episode. Oops. Yeah.
Doing
Sorry.
good. Just interrupting Cole, as I do.
No, no,
Hell yeah.
it's all good.
Sorry, go.
Anything else? Anything else you want to ask Gray first?
I guess not.
Still haven't
So
seen Resident Alien season 3. In case you're gonna ask, but yeah, good times.
Okay. Well, yeah, this episode kind of reminded me of a lot of other episodes from animated series we've seen and ones that you haven't seen yet when it comes to this like multi-dimension or multiverse stuff, such as What If with the Doctor Strange episode and Superman and Lois's episode. And I can say though that this felt like a much better version of all those combined. Once again, I just love everything in this. I can't think of a single weakness. They wrapped up everything so well and made it so there really wasn't any characters that felt unneeded, pushed to the side, or pointless throughout this episode and the season in general. I haven't the action scenes in this is absolutely love. I haven't really seen action scenes done this cool in a comic book property in a while. A lot of them kind of reminded me of it, which is ironic because they did kind of like an Easter egg with it in this episode, but it did kind of remind me of how I felt when I was watching Spider-Man 2 with the same like tone and music and direction of it all and with the characters. But yeah, it's just
Which Spider-Man 2? The Raimi one?
Yes, the good one.
Okay.
The good one.
Sorry, we just talked about the other one, so I wasn't sure. I was like, wait, how did this remind you of that?
But yeah, the character is right in emotion. It was all perfect. I appreciate a lot of these things they touch upon as well. It was similar to, honestly, things I think a lot of us kind of go through as well. And I think they executed it all perfectly with the emotions. Honestly, glad they left us on a cliffhanger with it as well and saved the Omni-Man stuff for next season. I think that was a smart decision. Yeah, I just loved it all there, and I'm glad they focused most of the episode on the conflict with this villain guy because he was kind of in the background for a while after episode 1, and I was not sure if they would actually capitalize enough off of him, or if it would just be kind of like those two clone guys. You know, I didn't know how much of a threat he would actually be in the end. They might waste him and whatnot, or just like a lot of the things throughout each episode, like near the end with those scenes, like post-credit scenes, wouldn't lead to much, like, or they would forget a lot of things. But it was the complete opposite. It was a fantastic job. Oh,
yeah.
1 sec. Greg can go.
Gray, what did you think of episode 8?
I was really happy about it. So I don't know, something about this whole second half of season 2. Just ever since they took the break for like the mid-season finale, these 4 episodes are strong. I know we kind of had some disagreement at the start of season 2. I was saying there was one episode that was just a whole lot of build up, and you were like, no, it was amazing, 10 out of 10. I did go back and watch that. Yeah, it was episode 2, but I thought there was a little bit of filler in there. But damn, season 2, like even that one where I thought that there was filler, it's just so much setup for everything that's then coming on this
I think it's the good
this
version
season.
of filler, you know?
For sure. Like, it's not filler in the way that I feel like there's a lot of shows that have episodes that don't do anything. It wasn't that. It was just all, I wanted the action to happen a little bit faster. And it was just that first part of the season had a little bit of slow burn. And this last half, these last 4 episodes have just been so tight and so action packed. I could not have been more wrong about the beginning of the season. I can see why you needed to set all that up to get where we got. The comic book changes it a little bit. The Angstrom stuff happens a lot before the Alan the Alien going up to the Omni-Man prison. But I love the way that they've switched this all around. I love the fact that it gave the Sequid thing was really small and really insignificant. And then they really gave this Angstrom thing a lot more, I don't know what you'd call it, like gravitas. But yeah, I loved this episode. And like Cole was talking about with the fighting, just, I don't know. I guess I didn't think that he would be that much of an adversary, but with all the portals, it just, oh, I love this. And then the fact that they're able to throw in so many jokes with all the different worlds that he gets sent to, yeah, I think this might be my favorite episode. I do want to go back and rewatch it to kind of confirm that, but yeah, I was just so pleased with the way that this is going. And I didn't realize the hint that's been going on like this entire season, but yeah, they're really leading up to the blue and black costume, which is going to be kind of amazing. And I think after his kind of baptism in blood, that's essentially what we're getting, because his pants were just black and blue after that. That's the only colors we've seen him in since then. So I don't know. I just have a feeling he's going with the dark suit, and if that's the case, this is going to be some real dark future that he's coming into. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Do you want to add more about episode 8 before we truly
I think I
dive
cut off
into-
Cole. I don't want to say too much more, but I'd love
Okay.
it if Cole wants to kind of get back to it.
So cool. Episode 8.
Oh no, I said everything. My bad if it felt like I was getting cut off. No.
Oh, sorry. I thought I cut you off talking about the battles. Just, man. And then, just the overall descent of this character, this Angstrom character, that you can kind of understand what he was trying to do initially and how there was this actual threat. And, it does require this, I don't know what you'd call it. Like, it requires a lot of action, and they're not necessarily going to be the most, wholesome of actions, but I don't know, to get where he got is just kind of amazing. And especially the way that it kind of makes you identify with the character, and you could see after everything that he's experienced, everything that happened to his family and the different versions of him, you could see how he would have this much hate. But God, to just see a character completely change is just I thought it was masterfully done. I really like this season. I just, again, could not have been more wrong when I said the start of it was a little slow. You need that to get to here.
Yeah, I do have to ask you though, Gray. What do you think they're going to do with the character progression with the Immortal and Kate in season 3?
So that was a fun twist. So I hadn't read ahead in the comics, and I didn't know that Kate was coming back. But essentially, they didn't kill anyone with the reptile kingdom or whatever.
Either. I don't read the comics until after I see the episodes and seasons. Then I read more.
In the comics, Shrinking Ray dies for sure in that one. They do still have her on life support, so she's not dead in this one, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I think there's a lot of progression that Mark can go through. He just fought Angstrom and realized that he wasn't strong enough. And then I thought that was really cool how the team from the future, his actual team. So they set up Terminator time travel rules in this one, which is kind of cool. In Marvel, supposedly, like there are tangents, like it creates an offshoot, so you can't actually go back and affect your own history. But in this one, they seem to have set up kind of the Terminator time travel rules where you can, because that was his actual team from 20 years in the future. And it looks like, unfortunately, what's his name? Robot is no longer with us because Rex was in the suit, which I understand he's a clone of Rex, but that Kate was not Kate, excuse me. Eve was referring to him as Rex. So I do believe that is actually Rex, not the clone of Rex. So
Rex, yeah.
So that doesn't.
I will say
well.
though, hopefully Multi doesn't call that a fucking plot convenience with them showing
it
up.
It is not. It is in no way a plot convenience. They've spent 20 years looking for him, and they have time travel 20 years from now, and it's been a dark future.
But also because they do set up beforehand many scenes with many different universes where they do that stuff to help characters in other universes. So they already set it up, so it isn't a plot. Like if they didn't beforehand and they just introduced it at that moment to help Mark there, then I would agree. But because they did, it's not a plot convenience. But also because there's a lot more to that scene with character development and everything. So it wasn't just like some pointless plot convenience scene.
And you can see how much that just had a toll on him. He lost control. He became Omni-Man for a second. That is really amazing. But it showed him that he's not strong enough and that he needs to train more. So I think that's what this next season is going to be, is he's really going to have to get himself up to that next level, because he's not on the alien level. He's not on the Viltrumite level. So I don't know. Perhaps those stories that Omni-Man wrote are going to come back into play. But yeah, just there's so many kind of dangling threads from this one that I'm really digging. But yeah, I think it's going to be some growth on Mark personally. He just went through this tragedy. I don't think he's looking for love right now, but I think there's also going to be a progression where he's going to have to answer Eve. He saw that, in a different future, he didn't answer her, and for 20 years, she's kind of been pining away for him. So he knows where that stands. His move is next. I think that's kind of cool. And then like with Immortal, I honestly don't know where that's going to go because he's so when it shows like that scene of his cabin, you can see like he's got the ark in it. He's got a whole, so like they imply he was either Jesus or one of the followers, and then there's so many other things like Lincoln's hat. They kind of imply that he was Lincoln at one point. They kind of just keep going with all these like kind of Easter eggs in that cabin. But the one thing I was not expecting was Duplicate. Like that is just amazing. That one totally got me off guard. I did not see that coming.
And I love though because that's one thing a lot of reviewers online were like, that's an issue though. Like the fact that that's her powers. Why doesn't she just keep one clone at home then at all times? And it's like, well, there you go.
So
Yeah,
I think it's funny because guys were like, "Oh, that's in the plot convenience." So guys were like
well,
ready.
we're just wondering what you consider one. But sorry, please go right ahead, Multi. Sorry for talking over
No, that's
on
fine.
your show yet again as I interrupt you right now.
That's fine.
Okay, sorry.
Great. Do you want to add more? That was your turn,
I
man.
just want to interrupt you. I'm sorry. I'm just being nice.
I'm the one that interrupted you. I'm the one. What are you
No,
done?
I just want to talk some more crap on you. We're good. I'll stop interrupting you, sir.
Again, were you done, bro? Because I got
Oh my
lost.
god.
Now.
For now. Okay. That's funny. Because it did cross my mind after our discussion call and Gray as well, I think. I was like, it's kind of sad that Kate didn't add the clone elsewhere chilling, or that the original isn't like elsewhere chilling. But apparently you're right, guys. She was elsewhere and she was just sending her clones to die, and that's kind of cool. I like that. Now, I don't think there was any issue with this episode. Uh, it took them 20 years to find Mark, which is fine. It's sci-fi, and they all have superpowers, super brain, whatever. There's a multiverse, so of course, at some point, time travel will be a thing. So far, time travel doesn't really bother me because it's like, look, I will be honest there. I hope we don't get to see these duplicants or these people that time travel. I hope they will just vanish and we won't address them anymore. But
So they were officially his exact team. Like they're not from like another universe, another dimension, whatever. It really was his team from 20 years in the future. So because they sent him to his own present on his own Earth, they will cease to exist. He will have changed the future. So they won't come back.
that's what I hope will happen. That's the best way to tackle time travel because so many shows effed over time travel. Please don't do that, Invincible. So this episode for me was wonderful, masterpiece. I had no issue whatsoever, and I will also add this. I do think this was probably the best episode in the entire show for me. And that would be like if someone asked me, "Oh, what episode would you recommend me to watch? I don't have time for like 16 hours." I would be like, this one. I know there's a lot of spoiler there, but this one. Um that
Really?
was
Even with like the treatment of the mother, you would be
yeah.
like, you should see his mother get tortured some. Real good.
Yeah. Dude, that was really hard to watch because I'm very close to my mother and you guys kind of know because I did share lots of things backstage, but I that was hard to watch for me, that sequence with the mother, but it was needed for Mark to lose his shit. I feel like if she wasn't in the state she was in, they would have no excuse or no way to justify Mark going nuts. But because of the treatment of the mother, it felt kind of justified that Mark would lose his shit. And it didn't feel like it damaged the character in any ways. and it feels like it did progress the character in the right way, even if he's kind of turning villain here. But yeah, I will admit that was rough to watch, but that was justified. I'm on board with that.
You're saying she deserved it. I got
Not
you.
really. It's more like she's used. She's used.
No,
Sad to
I'm just
say,
being a
but
jerk. I get what you're saying. Like you do kind of need to see like how far Angstrom has gone. So, like I think that scene is necessary as rough as it is.
and if it wasn't that disgusting toward the mother, like it would be hard to say he is a full-on villain.
Yeah, because you've seen the stuff before, and you never knew like how evil Fargani really was. You just saw him flip out after episode 1, saying I'm gonna destroy him once, and then you see him wander around throughout. You didn't really know how much of a villain and Fargani actually was. So yeah, that stuff was needed to really like show the audience like that he can't be saved almost.
Yeah.
For sure. And I didn't know how far he was going to go, especially when he's like holding the baby. It's like, okay, okay. Like where's this going? But yeah, I really dug it, man. It was a tense scene.
Yeah, and I feel like we got like the best outcome because nobody really died, but like I feel like that's the
Well, I
kind of show
mean,
where people
say,
would have died, maybe.
well, I'm just saying, like, her entire like house was kind of destroyed. Her wrist
Yeah.
was multiple compound fractured. So I don't know. I don't think she's going to catch the same way she used to. But I don't know. It also just her psyche of like having that attack happen in her house and then being unable to stop it and then coming back like the next day and it's exactly pristine down to like the little knickknacks that she had. Like, what part of this is unique? What means anything in here to me? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know if she could stay in this house after that incident. So I don't know. I think a lot happened in there. I don't know there's the best possible outcome, just
What?
Invincible
You
hit
want her to
before he
die?
ever put it.
You want her to die?
It's good she's alive, but she's gonna be very traumatized from this.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I agree with that. But that episode was just wow. Action, story, and despite all of the flashy, the story itself and the characterization didn't felt off or didn't like felt like it was left behind. It wasn't. I think this season has taught Siegel that man, you gotta trust people and you gotta like stuck
Mm-hmm.
you gotta stop being stuck in his own ways because his own ways is what caused season 1. His own ways is what created many conflicts in the past. And Siegel characterization is just wow. I like Siegel after watching this. And
Siegel?
Cecil,
Wait,
Cecil, Cecil.
Cecil. Okay,
I don't
sorry.
know.
I was like, am I tripping? Like, who is Siegel? Like,
Cecil,
did I
Cecil.
list an entire character?
I
Yeah,
massacred his
Cecil.
name.
Sorry, gotcha.
I massacred his name, but
It's all good. I'm sorry. That was me being stupid. I was just like, wait, who? I
Yeah.
gotcha.
Also, I love how he says that afterwards as well because he pronounces it like massacred.
massacred. Massacred.
Massacred.
It's awesome. It sounds classier when you say it.
Hell yeah. But the characterization is what made this show so good. And I enjoy that aspect. That's like really the highlight of this show, and this is why I like this show so much after watching this season. Like I remember enjoying somewhat like a lot of the things they did in season 1, but I don't think I was that hooked into the show with season 1, but now I am. I'm excited about season 3, and we had a wonderful time with this episode. So, what else? Um, I'm glad that maybe there are hints that Eve and Mark will be a thing in the future, because I always felt like they kind of belong together because they have very similar lives. They are different characters, but they feel like a match a lot more than Amber and Mark. I'm sorry for all of the shippers that are into Amber and Mark, but
I'll be honest, I don't think anyone is, especially because they just
Yeah.
hated her portrayal at points in season 1 and such. I think it's
Did she
more so
even
just
do
people.
anything at any point?
Yeah, it's just more so. Well, I mean, to be fair, that was sort of the comics. It's like she was just temporarily in a
Yeah.
relationship, wasn't she? And the show like that side of it, and it was good and needed. And now I guess it's pretty much over at this point.
I,
It's more so
I just
like I
remember
haven't
people
read
being
the
upset
comics.
that like she got race swapped like in the beginning of the show. Like I remember that being a big contention. Like they made it super woke because they
I didn't really
changed
care
this
about
character's
that.
race, and it's like,
Yeah.
from what I understand, she doesn't do much. Like it doesn't really affect anything.
Yeah,
So
it really
I don't know.
doesn't. I more so just hate one scene they changed, and you know which one, but that's
Hmm,
it.
fair enough.
but again, so this season I really enjoyed Amber and Mark's relationship a lot more than season 1, but again, I always felt like Eve and Mark was just simply a better match. So as much as I liked what they did with Mark and Amber this season, I'm glad they finally like ended this shit. I'm sorry.
Wait, are you saying supers need to stick to their own kind?
Yeah, wow,
That's a little
But
huh.
I mean, they have the same lives. I don't like Eve can defend herself if a super villain tried to
I
delete
mean, look,
her.
I don't know,
Amber,
but look,
Amber
I'll
almost
be.
died on a date with Mark. I mean,
I mean,
that's
yes, it's
obvious.
dangerous, but it can work. But I think it's more so that it's that plus school and plus that this is such a huge universe event compared to other things. But I mean, yeah, no, I mean, I get your point at to a certain level. I just it's like I haven't read the comics that far yet, so I don't know whether they do or not. But if they do end up together, okay,
Just,
cool.
just,
I just
just
don't I just
imagine.
don't like your reasoning. I just don't like your reasoning. So like because they live similar lives and because they're good friends, that means they're perfect for
Oh,
each other. I mean, it's like it's not really how it works all the time. It's like you could just be good friends, and sometimes like well, a lot of the time, like again, but Grace said it best: opposites, attract a lot of the time. It doesn't mean that they're a perfect match. No, so I just
I,
hate your reasonings. Is all.
I gotta say, just imagine you swap a moment Eve and Amber on the day that got ruined. Like Eve, she would maybe have died, but she would have held her own. Like she would have tried something,
Wow,
Like
this is some
I
racism.
would
what?
Wow.
What
I would
can
argue
Amber
she
do?
wouldn't though, because like they already showed it where Mark just like runs over, alternate Mark runs over and snaps her neck in
Yeah,
a different parallel universe. I'm assuming that now I can't remember her name, but the Viltrumite warrior lady who came down to warn him. I'm assuming she's faster than him. I could be wrong. So I
but
think
at
basically
least
she's a foe that nobody could have stopped at that moment.
at least she has power. That's more my
Fair enough.
point. I think. Like I will also be honest. Amber as a character, I enjoy what they did with her, but how can she evolve and progress in a superhero TV show without having powers? It's really hard and challenging. It's not impossible because
Uh,
shows like Superman and
Look at the
Lois.
mother.
Wait, I'm not done. Shows like Superman and Lois did very well with non-powered characters, but it's always harder to involve the non-powered characters in shows. And now you bring the mother, that she is a good example of characters that are well handled within that universe. That's why I barely speak about her, because I don't really have an issue with the mother, and they did really good job with her characterization and her story and such.
Well,
But
you were
I
just saying like Amber being a non-super, how could she deal with that? And it's like, well, look at the mother. Like it's going to be tough, and it's probably going to scar her and be traumatic. But the mother's doing it,
but
or did it. I'm
Yeah,
assuming is going to in the future because the final line in the show.
yeah, and the other thing again is it's really hard to have several non-powered characters have relevant storyline without them being repeated. And Superman and Lois kind of fell on that pit during season one, I believe, because there are some things that mirrored each other. But it's really hard to just tell very different stories if your character, all of their conflict is really personal and drama and it's not the center of the action. What will the mother do in a fight with Viltrumite or Ember? What will they do? Like they will use a frying pan or something. Let's be
I
honest. They
mean, they might pick up the frying pan, but that's about it.
yeah, they will get their neck snapped. But yeah, like they did it right with the mother, but that's challenging to tell different stories with several non-powered characters. And Amber and
Fair
Mark,
enough.
what they
From
did
what
with
they've
them,
shown us, though, like if it's any Viltrumites, like even having powers is essentially like useless. So
yeah,
I don't know, man. Like we still kind of have that. Like, what are you ever gonna do to Omni Man?
yeah, exactly. But it, I enjoy what they did with Amber, but I don't think there's room for her in season three. But I kind of spoiled a bit what I wanted to bring up later on after the discussion. But um, yeah, to get back on track, this episode I had a blast. Mark losing his shit was memorable, and Cecil having a very different speech than what he had early in the season was felt, and it felt earned, and it's like progression. And wow, I I just praise characterization there, and Omni-Man still being around was cool, and the Cyclops still being there was cool. Dan being there and in the Viltrumite base or something.
The Cyclops, Alan the alien.
Yeah, yeah, Alan, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, they're cool. They're cool. I enjoy my time watching them. Um, so again, I don't have much more to say about just episode 8 as one thing. I think we covered a lot about.
Well,
Um,
then let me ask you a couple questions about it.
yeah,
Did you dig the cameos that happened in this? Like, sorry, I'm calling them cameos, but like we get to see an alternate version of Spider-Man. That was pretty cool. Uh, we get to see like when he goes through all the portals, it kind of goes to different worlds. At one point, it shows somebody off camera that he's talking to, and he's like,
Batman.
"Really? You call it like with the bats and that?" I don't know. So like they kind of brought in Spider-Man and Batman and a few other people into this, and then I don't know if you saw the kind of the casting that they did with the voiceover as well, but the guy who plays the jogger at the beginning and who plays the Spider-Man copy is the dude who actually does the voice for the cartoon Spider-Mans. At least the last run, I'm forgetting what they called that cartoon show, but it's kind of fun. Like they are doing like a nod to Spider-Man by actually getting the voice actor and then having him play the Spider Agent Spider or whatever and the Professor Octopus. I thought that was pretty cool. I really liked it. I thought it was really funny. They've thrown some good humor into an episode where it's just like over the top violent in a great way.
I'm with you, and I didn't mention these cameos because that's not really what I'm looking at when I watch something. But I do agree.
Well, I mean,
I,
it's part of it.
yeah, yeah. But that's not necessarily parts of my notes. Maybe that's why I didn't mention it. But again, I enjoyed Batman. I enjoyed Spider-Man. They were cool, but like the main interest for me wasn't the cameos. That may sound harsh and sad, but
Okay.
that's the truth.
Who did The Walking Dead better? Because this is Robert Kirkman's comic book. He is the one who also wrote Walking Dead, and they put
This
him
show
right in
did
that
it
world.
like why do you even compare these two?
Well, you know what?
I'm not done watching season 6, and gosh, I regret saying that
Well,
was
look,
a good
you know,
season.
I'm pretty sure Robert Kirkman has shamed The Walking Dead by now. What they did to his comics, all right. As I said, season 1, amazing, accurate to the comics and everything. Even if they kept like Shane alive and stuff for longer. After that, AMC just gave him the middle finger. So
But
at least we're not ruining this as well.
The Walking Dead first 5 episodes in season 6 were good, but after that it's like one episode like 8, one episode like one episode like 8. Oh, another episode like 8. Oh, another episode like 8. Oh, there's a decent one. Oh, cool. Oh, wait, another episode like 8. It's like
Yeah.
it's a love-hate relationship right now. Like that
The only
shows.
good episodes or good moments is purely because of his comic source material, the good moments in that, and because of the actors. Everything else sucks with how they make it.
I can't wait to roast season 6 on my
I can't wait till
retrospective.
you finish this shit. I can't believe you're putting yourself through it. Holy
Uh,
fuck.
it's
You
bad,
gotta
bro.
watch the spin-offs. Holy fuck.
So,
Just don't do it.
so the part one of the retrospective, I'm almost done recording it. Only the cameos are missing. Like Gray, you will be there. Cole, you will be there. DC, you will be there. Charles will be there, and Alex will be there. Everyone will be there at some point. So only the cameos are missing from the first part of my retrospective. But damn, this show is bad.
Did Sparkles really just ask who lived? Well, I can't say because I don't want to spoil it for Multi, but the real question you should be asking is which actors demanded out and which actors needed the paycheck.
How demanding is multi? Well, I'm demanding. Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
Anyhow,
true.
We would like to tell you, but he demanded that we don't. So I'm sorry.
um, so okay, to go back on topic. Hell yeah, I said it. Um, for me, episode 8. Well, actually, did you have other question for me, Gray?
No, I think that's it. If the cameos and details aren't important to you, then never mind.
Um, yeah. What matters is the stories and the characters. If you're just a cameo, I don't give a crap. Sorry.
Part of the story, though. He's now trapped in Batman's world, and he's going to criticize him and tell him that that's kind of a bad name for, a super. Fair enough.
Maybe that was actually one of the funny I marked down in my notes because I marked down many funny.
So
Anyhow,
you don't just write not in front of funny. I just assumed you just always write not funny, not funny, not funny.
no, I do mark down funny when it's funny, but sometimes when I don't care, I don't mark it down in either miss or it. But sometimes I do mark down funny, like.
So you're admitting it's subjective.
Checkmate.
So episode 8 season 2 of Invincible is a solid 10 out of 10 for me. What about you, Cole?
Yeah, I would give this episode a 10 out of 10. I would give the whole season, unless you don't
We
want
are
me to
not
give
there yet. We talked
Okay,
about the season after
I
that.
won't yet. Okay.
Well, Sparkles
Great.
gives this episode a not funny, so fair enough. Yeah, I think I'd go like a 9.5. I think it can get a little bit better. Knowing the arc that's going to come up, I think it's going to get even more intense. But damn, this is some good, not television, some good streaming here. I enjoy it.
Hell yeah! So now let's dive deep into the entire season. Now that the season is over, I will start by asking. I don't know if Jerry will have the answer, but maybe you do, or maybe I will ask Cole first to give great time.
Mhm.
Cole, what would be your worst 3 episode this season?
My worst 3 would be, yeah, sure, I'll pull them up here. It's, fuck, God, I would probably say episode, yeah, episode, Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm like stumbling on my words here. But
I
I'd
can start to give you the time
oh
because
no,
mine
I'd
is
probably
already
say
ready.
just like the first 3 episodes, honestly, or like episode 2, episode 3, and episode 4. Just a lot of those in the first half.
4?
Like, yeah,
Well,
like
4 was the mid-season finale that it was kind of action-packed, man.
oh no, it was amazing. It's just compared to the other episodes, I would say like like again, that's the thing. Like this entire season, I wouldn't say there's any weak episodes. They're pretty much all like tens for me. I just love this show so much. Like if I would have to say any that aren't quite a 10, it would just be the first 2 episodes. I'd give more like a 9.5, just because even though it was filler, it was still amazing filler and needed filler, but you could still say it was filler. You could still say like the later episodes proved that they could have got the points across or build up across without as much like
Yeah.
fillery things with worlds that they didn't need to cover maybe. But either way, still love them. Still pretty close to perfect for me. But if I'd have to choose, though, it'd probably be like the first 3 episodes, or 2, 3, and 4, is just because all the episodes in the later half are absolutely perfect to me. Like even episode 6, a lot of people didn't like. Sorry, not
Really?
that they didn't like episode 6 as much, but it was weaker to them. Well, to me, I thought it was just
Huh.
incredible character studies and stuff. So I don't know. Yeah.
I think I'm
For-
basically going to be parroting exactly what Cole said. I think for me, I started the damn dirty rumor that there was filler in this, and I really take that back. I misspoke. I meant to say like it's setting up a bunch of stuff, but not a lot of action happens in episode 2. But it's not filler; it's setting up future events. I would not call that filler. I don't think there's much in there that you could take out and it would still be the same story. So I'm sorry. I got us all thinking about filler, and I really take that back. I think if gun to my head, I would have to say the first 3 didn't excite me as much as the last 5 episodes. So I would just be parroting pretty much what Cole's saying.
Yeah.
Just the mid-season finale, and then every episode since then is just amazing in this season. So I don't think there's any bad episodes. I think 2 would be my least favorite, but that's still out of a great season. So I'm sorry, and fair enough, to be fair.
Yeah, fair enough. I think the other reason you just said filler lots is because you're watching The Walking Dead. Which is just,
It definitely could be. Filler is on the mind.
And
Yeah.
Resident Alien Season 3, be ready, Ray.
yeah, oh god.
Half of it is filler, but you won't notice it until you're done with the season.
Yeah.
Because every episode has something important in it, but it's a guessing game on what's important and what's
Yeah.
not.
And, if you wanted my favorite 3 episodes, it would just be 5, 7, and 8.
Okay, that was my next question, Gray. What would be your top 3?
That is tough. I really like the mid-season finale, but then all of these were really amazing. I got to say the last 2 really hit me hard. So I guess I'd go 4, 7, 8 would be my favorites. But again, the whole season's great. So to be fair enough, fair. Good times. Good season. You're not going to go wrong watching any of these. What about you,
Yeah.
Multi? What's your favorite?
So I will start with my worst 3. It will be weird because the worst episode this season for me is also, in terms of enjoyment and entertainment, my favorite in the show, but I had issues with it. And this
Really?
is episode 6. So for me, episode 6 was a 9.5 out of 10. And my issues were plot armor on the yellow suit guy surviving a bullet in the brain.
Wait.
Um,
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Phineas Gage?
Yeah. Look,
I did, but
it's incredible.
He had
that
a metal rod shot through his head. There's a lot of gunshot victims that do end up surviving.
Yeah,
Plus, he's a
that and like
superhero.
nails.
His name's
to the
Rex
brain,
Explode.
everything. Like you should really look at like crazy X-rays online of like incidents, like actual like nails and bullets to the head,
that
and
was
like
goddamn
tears and
close,
scissors.
dude.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like people survive those incredible things because I don't know, like Saw X taught you this, so you should have known multi, but like injuries like that to the human brain, it isn't like in some shows where it's like one, like a little bit of damage once to the brain and you're done like a fucking zombie. You know, maybe if you have like a shotgun to the head or something, but even then I've heard some crazy incidents there. But it's like people have survived that often, and you know, like people have had like parts of their brain like damaged, but they survive from it, you know, just with issues, and over time though sometimes, and they heal fully. You know, that's how the human brain works. So the main thing you worry about is hemorrhaging and stuff. But but people survive from that stuff. You know, like it's not too common. Obviously, it's like, you know, you need luck there, but it isn't like insane that he survived or anything. It has happened a lot of the time, and especially, you know, if he's like a superhero where he probably is like tougher than the regular person there and is wearing like a metal helmet. Like, it isn't uncommon it happened. You know?
I won't give it a pass.
Okay, well, you're wrong, but also it was important to his character and everything anyway. But
this I agree. I like what they did after, so I understand why they did it. They did it. I understand 100%. But hell, like, bullet to the brain, man. Like, next stop would be, why would Invincible need a helmet if he could breathe in space?
Wait, could breathe in space?
In that episode, apparently he's in space without his helmet, and nothing happens to him.
Okay, well,
he always has an helmet, except for that one episode.
Like, there's different. Well, yes, like he doesn't wear a helmet and such, like when he's talking to Alan and he like flies, you know, past the atmosphere and stuff. But I'm pretty sure like that's probably like a bit different there. Like there might be like different parts of space and like in those areas where it's tougher, so he needs to helmet or something. But even then, like maybe in the future, like he won't because his father like didn't. So I don't know. Like they don't fully explain it, like unless they did, and Gray can like counter your point. But I mean, I don't think it's like an issue though. It's just not something they fully explain. But it isn't like it didn't like cause any issues with the plot or something where it's like a convenience or something, or like hurts it some way.
Which I apologize, I'm totally being an ass again because it's what I do. To be fair enough. But I was looking up the first thing, the shot in the head part. I have a counter to that, but what is the other one that was the issue now?
Helmet in space.
The helmet in space.
He always has an helmet, except in that one episode, he's like, "Oh, you know what? I don't need it anymore."
Well, he never needed it though. Like it shows Omni-Man and the rest of the Viltrumites without helmets.
But he's half human, dude.
Yeah, which is why.
And why would he wear that helmet if he doesn't need it?
Yeah, well, that might be why.
Because he has more.
Some locations like further away from the Earth's atmosphere, he might need it for now.
He wasn't in space, dude. He was in space when he wasn't wearing that shit.
I gotta say, man, I think that's being nitpicky over nothing, because every Viltrumite is able to breathe in space, and yes, he is part human, but not enough to make him considered not a super. So he still has that Viltrumite super blood. I don't know. I don't think he needs it. As for why he had it before, I'm not certain. Perhaps so that his goggles don't like fog up as much, because you're going into like negative, whatever you want to call that. Like space is rather cold. Yeah. So I don't know. That's the only thing that I can think of, because it's not like he needs it for, you know, breathability or anything like that. But as long as we're, you know, saying things that aren't quite right. So here's a post on Quora that the question is, has anyone ever survived being shot in the head? Enters the skull, not a glancing shot. That's the question. And then the person that answered it is named Rodney Rose. And they say, hello, my name is Rodney Ray Rose. In 2017, I was shot 8 times with an AK-47 at less than 10 feet. And the amazing part is 7 of the 8 were in the face and back of the head. I was shot in my car by an attempted robber named Brian Willis. I lost my right eye, left thumb, and face had been shot off. My tongue shot out. My teeth were even more damaged. But yeah, not only is the dude alive, he's able to actually like talk about this. And this guy is not a superhero. So just saying.
Yeah, it happens
Okay,
all the
just
time.
because Korra said so, I will pretend internet is a
Again, I can
reliable
give you the
source.
dude's name. I can bring up the police report. He also
Yeah,
gives
like
the name of the robber is Brian Willis, and it happened in Fayetteville, West
yes,
Virginia.
like
So
it happens
Okay,
all the time, multi. That stuff like happens literally like old brain
okay,
injuries.
I
Like the
will,
brain, the human I'm gonna
I
say
will
the human
concede on
brain is
that one.
weird.
I
It's
I will
very
concede. I will concede on that one. So that
weird.
one turns from a 9.5 to a 9.7 because the
Yeah,
internet
I'm
is still
saying
an
on
issue
your
for
free
me.
time though, I would like look up some crazy incidents that happen with that shit because it will
I
blow
know
your
it's possible if you're very, very lucky, but
Rex is
yeah,
a
but
lucky guy, man.
yeah, and
He's
he's a
got super
superhero.
ability.
Yeah.
uh, um, anyhow, um, that was my least favorite. Well, that was the worst episode. I'm not my least favorite. That was the worst. Now it's followed by episode 4, and episode 4 was a 9.5. So I guess because now the other one rose up to 9.7, it's no longer in last place. So now episode 4 took its place with only 2 issues. Plot convenience, Omni Man being around the ship before it crashed into the planet or black hole. Um, Next up would be teaser to yet another world-ending thread bothers me, but at least it wasn't in season 2, so that's one good thing going for it. Um, 9.5 out of 10 for that one. And the third worst would be the first episode with a 9.7. Plot armor on the survivor of the building destruction. That's my only issue. So these were the worst 3 episodes for me. Now
Building
let's
destruction. You mean the dude who portaled out of it? It's plot
no,
armor that
like
he
an
used.
entire building crushed like everyone except one guy.
Isn't that Angstrom? Isn't
Can't
he the dude
remember.
in the machine and then it explodes? Or is
Maybe.
it
I can't
what's
remember.
his name? The
Whoever
twins, the one
survived
guy who
should
gets
have
so
died.
severely burnt and comes out of it.
Whoever survived should have died. Except Invincible, because he's invincible. Uh
I
my
don't
top
understand your scoring or your logic, but fair enough.
my top 3 was in first place, episode 8, 10 out of 10. In second place, episode 7, 10 out of 10. In third place, episode 5, 10 out of 10. So wanting that kind of come back in all of our reviews, the back half is better than the first half. Not that the first half is bad, it's just better.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm scared that my top 3 ranking is the exact same as yours. That worries
Now we said our top and worst. Um, I will say my likes because I don't have any issues. So Amber and Mark relationship was amazing. Seeds of Mark and Eve being a thing were well planted. The action was rock solid and amazing. Every character had amazing character growth. The break on world ending threat was cool with a more personal villain with the guy that basically beated a woman and invincible. That's not weird, but that felt personal much more than like some alien wanting to destroy the planet. um so oh, interesting comment there. um Next up would be the season was consistent and all of the episode mattered. So, long story short, I'm a huge fan of season 2. I liked it a lot more than season 1. Not that season 1 was bad by any means, but it felt like a massive improvement for me. 10 out of 10 for the entire season of Invincible season 2. What would be your grade, Cole?
Yeah, I would agree. 10 out of 10. I really can't think of a single episode where I really wouldn't give it a 10, in my opinion, at least. I just think it was perfect all around. This is one of my favorite seasons and shows we've ever covered, really. I do have to ask you, though, and then, for both of you, I guess, if you were to include the special Eve episode of her origin story, where would it rank with the rest of the episodes in season two?
Weaker. I
Weaker than all of them.
I think I would rank it higher than 1, but lower than anything
Yeah,
from 2.
I would put it higher than like 1 or 2 maybe, but yeah.
I'd say the Eve episode was like more in the vein of season 1, and season 2 just felt like a step above what season 1 was, for me at least.
Fair enough. I think what I didn't like about season 1, they completely changed in season 2. Like, I just didn't really care about the school stuff or like him trying to work that out. And with this, they barely touch on that. Like, it's just kind of, all right, I'm dropping out eventually. And I think that's the way that it should be. I don't know. I'm digging everything that they're including in 2. Where in 1, I had some stuff where it's like, I don't like this that much. Like, come on, get on to the important stuff in the story. I feel like they're doing that now. I kind of felt like they did that a little bit more with Adam Eve. I can't remember exactly what they called that series, that whatever, like 2-episode thing. I liked it a lot. I don't think it can hold a candle to this season, though. This season is just like over the top.
Yeah.
And
you mean
I
special?
think I would
Pretty
give
sure
this season. Sorry, go right ahead, Cole.
Oh no, I was just saying. I think that was just 1 episode, wasn't it, instead of 2?
Was it 1 episode? I couldn't remember.
Yeah,
I know
Yeah,
every time I
only
watch
1.
any episode, it like auto plays again. So it's like, I don't know. It just now I feel this dread every time I see it. But I thought it was amazing before. I think if I were to rate this whole season, I think I'd go 9.5, and that's just because I know they can go a little bit further, and I trust that they're going to. I agree with Cole. I think this is my favorite season of anything that we've covered. I know I've covered a lot less than you guys, but yeah, I loved every part of this. There was like no lulls in this to me. The lowest was just like episode 2, where I was like, come on, like let's get something moving. But I truly understand why they had to set everything up the way that they set it up and why it took so long. And it works. It's great. So,
yeah, I mean, if you want like an idea of like other, I guess, seasons of shows,
I will share right after you share, Cole. So go for it, Cole. I was just saying quickly, if you want like an idea of like other shows we covered on the same level that we thought, then it'd probably be like the first 2 seasons of Doom Patrol, and then like the first season of Boys. Yeah. I'd add more to this.
I like this one so much more than The Boys, but I like what The Boys is, but I don't know. There's just something better about this one, in my opinion. But sorry, I cut you off, Multi. What were you saying? And Doom Patrol is on my list. I just have so many damn things. On my list right
I agree. There is something lacking a bit in The Boys, like compared to shows like this. Like, I think it's more so just like there were already attempts at like what The Boys did before The Boys, and with Invincible, though, I think just like with the characters and everything, feels a lot more fresh to me. Like, I know it's like covering similar stuff, but it's about the execution. And to me, the execution in The Boys, I've seen it in other shows before, but with Invincible, it's kind of new to me. But yeah, anyway, but for Invincible season 2, it's just perfect to me. Again, I don't know like really what to say about like overall thoughts other than that, after season 1, I was afraid that they wouldn't be able to cover and manage everything they teased from season 1 in only like 8 episodes. I was concerned, but they were somehow able to pull it off. And usually, God, there was so much shit going on, so many characters just juggling back and forth. And usually a show like this would have issues time to time when they're doing this, trying to do this much or fail. But this is like the first ever where they somehow succeeded at all of it, and nothing like felt unneeded or no characters felt left out. Like, it's incredible. And they had like fucking like 35 characters they were working with.
Yeah, I agree.
I just would have thought there's no way that they could go as dark as they did at the end of season one, like with that arc, and then make it any way that you could even kind of feel for Omni-Man. And damn, they did really good in this
Yep.
season. It really brought that around for me. And that is
Character
disgusting to
growth.
Sparkles. I've never heard of a hot dog on Peeps, but that sounds horrible. That is the one thing I would not put mustard on.
I thought Omni-Man character growth was wonderful. I liked it a lot. Um, so to give you an idea, Agree, I I remember giving like the boys 9.8 or 9.9, but maybe I missed out one of the tens. Maybe Cole remember me a 10 I forgot, but here's the
Uh,
tens I got as of right now. So my favorite 10 so far is Stargirl season 3. That's my top 10. Um it's followed by Lucifer season 2, another 10. So all of the ones I will mention are 10s. Lucifer season 1 is in third place. Doom Patrol season 2 is in fourth place, and Invincible season 2 is in fifth place, and Superman and Lois third season is in sixth place.
I keep forgetting you gave out a 10.
Yeah, I can't remember if there's more tens, but I don't think so. Maybe I missed out one, but I think these are the tens. I
Yeah.
remember giving a lot of 9.7, 9.5 to a lot of different shows, but I think the ones I mentioned here are my tens because I remember Doom Patrol first season was like 9.5 ish. Preacher most of the season outside of three were like between 9 and like
Yeah.
9.7. I don't think
I
Preacher ever got a
Are there
10.
any seasons of Arrow that reached a 10?
Yeah, like the closest thing to a 10 Arrow did was season 5 with a 9.7.
Okay. Well, I mean, what about Legends of Tomorrow? You know, season
Are you
7 was
crazy?
great.
Oh, no, no,
Well,
I'd
wait,
rather
you didn't
no.
like the season where they had like a bowling competition, you know, and
That was awful, man. PTSD.
I don't know, man. I can
Legends.
see watching Doom Patrol. Like that one is on my list. I don't know if I could ever see
yeah,
watching
you should. It's
Stargirl.
one of
Is
the
it
few
really
things
that?
Jaden actually loves.
Yeah, and
Is it really that good that it would be your number one top 10?
uh,
It's
again,
insanely good.
Okay,
it's
maybe I do need to give it a chance. I see that, and I kind of see like Captain Marvel, and I'm just like, I think I'm good. But fair enough. Stargirl is different than the superhero with the star on her chest that calls herself Captain Marvel.
and I think Cole also liked it. He didn't like it as much as me
Yeah,
because he wasn't as invested as me with the show.
yeah.
But
Stargirl surprised me. Yeah, like I didn't love it as much as Multi, but it did surprise me. Season 1 and season 2, and then season 3 really was like actually
peak.
incredible. Like, it's a show like you'll net. It's a show you just have to watch for yourself. You look at it and you think it's another like typical CW junk show and about
It's
like
not.
just a bunch of teenagers in school and stuff, but with powers like shit like Gotham Knights, and that's what it looks like. And I think a lot of people wrote it off as that, but and it is, and the formula and episodes are basically that. However, the execution of it all is actually incredible. Like it actually, the Stargirl show actually works for that formula CW tries to do, and the actors and characters are actually great. The action choreography was actually incredible. They had great people doing that. The filmmaking was great. It was actually really compelling. The only issue is they got canceled and they were planning to do a fourth season. So for season 3, the last episode, they did a second ending for it in case they got canceled. But because of that, it felt rushed, and it was really bad that last episode to me. But
I still
otherwise,
liked it. I
mean,
thought that was the perfect way to end it, but I wish we had
yeah,
season
but it
4.
was kind of a mess because of it at points. But other than that, it was actually great.
I'm really excited to rewatch all of the tens I gave because I plan on doing more videos about these shows, especially Lucifer. Like I'd say again, Gray. Cole wasn't into it as much as me, but I'd say Lucifer is better than Doom Patrol. Uh, because Doom Patrol, there's a drop off. Lucifer, there's also like lesser seasons, but the drop off is not as massive as
I'm
Doom
sorry.
Patrol.
I just thought like the visual aspects and everything of it were very generic, and that's what
Yeah.
dragged it down. I think if they improved on that more, like did what like Preacher did and combined it in Lucifer, then it would have been so much better.
Yeah. But again, Stargirl, I'm so excited. Among all of the shows I want to rewatch, to review and such, to create retrospectives, it's the one I'm the most excited about. Lucifer as well, because Lucifer, I'm a huge fan of that show, but I think Stargirl is the one that I look for the most. And I think that's the one I will rewatch the most in the bunch as well, because first of all, that's the shortest, and second, there's just so much to say about this show. It's just peak entertainment for me. I think it will be very hard for a show to top that, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Also, I will just say as well, when we were watching Stargirl and everything, it was like the last show or movie that I was like watching with you when I like moved from Canada, and it was also during winter time. And now I'm in a country where there's no winter at all throughout the whole year. So anytime now that I think of winter and just like coldness, I think of that season of the show. So Stargirl season 3.
Yeah, and I think it's also it's a show that you can plug on like during like Christmas season.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
like,
great Christmas show.
yeah, it's
And way better
you
than fucking Hawkeye.
you
Don't
you,
watch.
you feel great. You're just watching an episode. You're like, man, I feel great. I can smell the happiness. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
almost envy that family.
yeah, just the tone of that like small little town. It's just so cozy, and then you watch Hawkeye and you want to die.
Or then you watch season 2 and you're like, what happened? Why is this so dark suddenly? But it worked. It worked. Anyway, enough praising. Invincible season 2. The talk is kind of over, except if you guys would like to add more about season 2.
That's about it for me.
Okay, so before we go, let's just briefly talk about, why not like spoiling the comics or anything. What are guys' expectation for season 3 for Invincible? Starting with Gray.
I think so. I do know some of the comics, so I have an idea where it's going to go. I think we're going to meet a new super villain who is the Viltrumite answer, the one that I can't remember her name, but the one that the female said that she has to answer to. I think we're going to meet that guy, and I think he's going to be a very formidable foe. I think the show is going to attempt to do the impossible and truly redeem Nolan, and I don't know if you can do that, but I think that's what I'm expecting from season 3. What are you guys expecting from it?
Cool. Do you want to go second, or I do?
You can go first. I'm eating.
Okay. Okay. So first thing, maybe Mark will turn to the dark side. So what I could see happening is one of the two things. Either he turns and people bring him back, or they do like 180 and he's a solidified hero. I want one of these two. Either
I think it's going to be more in between, honestly. I think he's going to have more anger issues, but then Nolan will eventually show up later down the line and like help him get over it.
I don't want him to like have the same kind of feel from season 2. So what I mean by there is I don't want to see the Invincible we had this season. Like, I want something 180. Like, either he is a full blown villain for most of the season, but he's kind of brought back to his sense by the end of it.
I think that's a really, I don't know if that's a good prediction, because like Angstrom already talked about it. Like, he went to, wasn't it like, didn't he have 1,000 Angstroms together? So wasn't it like 999 different universes, and in none of them did Nolan have a second child. In none of them was Mark not a villain. This is the only one. So I don't know, man. think this Mark can turn. I think
Yeah.
he got as close as he's ever going to get with his first kill, and I don't. I don't know. I think that's what it was hinting at with the whole Angstrom thing, but I could be wrong. But I don't think we've got the same person. Like he went through a life changing event, so I don't think we're going to get the same one from 2. But I don't think he can go to the dark side.
That's why I say I wanted 180. I don't want the same Mark we had in season 2. I want either like 180. He is solidified. He is sure he won't be like his father. Everyone knows that. He knows it. That's the 180 I want. Or he is a villain and his character arc is going back to the light. One of these two. I don't want like something in between, like guys are saying, because I feel like we already
I
had
don't think
the
we
in
said anything
between.
about in between. So
Yeah.
all I'm saying is I don't think he can turn. Just
Yeah,
because
I don't
he's like
think
the one that
he
couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think he can, and I don't think he will. But again, I think it's more so like there'll be moments where not full villain mode, but again, like sort of like in the last episode of this season where he has more of those moments,
Yeah.
and again, I think no, it'll be a 180 with like the character swap. Well, then Nolan will be the more of the one like trying to convince him otherwise with certain things.
I
But
I,
I have
Do
I
you
hope
guys
they do a
think that they
180.
can redeem Nolan? Do you think Nolan can
Yeah.
be a good
Yeah.
character?
If he sides with the humans, he can, because like you clearly see that he kind of cared for the others, and like the end credit scenes this season, it's like, oh yeah, I actually miss my wife. It's, yes, that may sound selfish and egocentric, but now he actually seems like
You mean
now
the
he
woman he called
cares.
his pet?
Yeah, that
You,
did you
you know,
miss
I
the end
love how
credit
this
scene?
whole question is basically like the question of can a well, actually I can't say the word or else YouTube won't allow it, but can a I'll just say it like this, can a 1945 German soldier redeem himself? That's basically like what we're asking, because that's basically the Viltrumites.
Yeah. Can you ever do so much good that you can make up for the bad? Like, I don't know. But it does appear that he's changing. I guess the one thing that none of us talked about, do you think the Thraxian, now I'm forgetting his name, is it Oliver? What's the kid's name?
Oliver, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think he's going to get powers in in season 3?
Yeah, he
He's
will,
aging
and
much
he'll
faster.
grow. Yeah, he'll grow much faster. He'll be trained by Mark. He'll get powers, I think.
Yeah, that could be a good story because now he is the mentor. I think that's why they introduced that character. It's because they want Mark to be in a mentor role. Mentor. That could be very fun to explore and watch.
Yes, and also like what Nolan might have done wrong in his eyes. Like if you think back on like the first episode and everything, and like how he punched him to the ground and shit. Like how will Mark handle it? How will he do it?
He will do the same, and then he will realize, damn, I'm just like my father there. That could be like irony there. Oh, I
But
was
that's what
hating him.
ate him up so much in this episode. He realized
Yeah,
that he could turn like Nolan, like he could turn on that rage. He could
yeah,
go berserker mode. And I don't know, man. I think that changed him. Apparently, 20 years on that, it's going to make him insane. But he didn't spend 20 years there. They got him shortly after the event. So
yeah.
yeah,
God, why is my cat trying to eat fucking French fries? Jesus Christ, get away!
it knows what's good.
So she got distracted, but yeah, I'm so excited about season 3. Like, yeah, I don't have much more to say there. Oh yeah, one last thing for me. Amber, we don't need her anymore. She had her purpose. She did her things. We don't need her. And
He can
taking
have appearances, but yeah,
taking off that school storyline is also a good choice because season 3 can fully embrace the hero aspect to it, and that could be different because a lot of the characters have alter ego and such. But yeah, I'm glad we won't really explore university. I hope we don't, and I hope Amber is out of the show definitively. Like, nothing against the character, but it's already hard to have one non-powered character have a relevant story like Debbie had. Like, this season, Debbie's story was cool. I liked it. But that's already hard, like, dealing with one character like that.
I think we're going to get a
Just,
lot more Debbie next season. With
Yeah.
Nolan's last line. I think that's
Yeah.
coming back. But you're also forgetting. Now I'm forgetting his name, but his friend, and then the friend's
Yeah.
boyfriend who came back from the dead. Like, I think we're gonna be dealing with a college at some point next season, but we'll see.
well,
Yeah, probably.
the that may sound harsh and sad, but I also feel like the best friend and the love interest of the best friend, they're not that important. I'm sorry, but
Well, they're not super important, but I think they have a place.
the boyfriend has a very interesting. I think the boyfriend is more interesting than the best friend. That's the funny part. I think there's more things they can do with him than the best friend.
Yeah, but the best friend was funny. He was there for comic relief. The other guy was there to probably protect them now.
I don't really like characters just there to make you laugh. Like, they're cool when they make you laugh, but I mean, I want character arc. I want progress. I want, like, your character to have a place in the show. And I feel like if you're just comic relief, it's like, yeah, we don't know what to do with you, so you're comic relief. It's not my cup of tea. I don't really enjoy that. So, and again, I do think the boyfriend has very interesting thing, because
Yeah, sorry. So I think it was William and Rick. Their names were.
Yeah, but Amber, write her off. I'm sorry for all of the Amber fan. I don't give a shit about that character.
I mean, are there really any fans? I mean,
she's
it's
an
more
activist.
So, look,
She
it's more so
woke,
people
you know?
who like don't. Like, yeah, it's more so people like her. Like, yeah, we agree she isn't the greatest. She's like easily like the weakest in this.
She's the weakest, not one of the weakest. She's the weakest.
Yes,
I'm sorry. Why don't Mark? Why don't Mark this season? This season, she's kind of nothing, because her entire storyline revolves on, oh, I am Mark's girlfriend. Oh, having a superhero boyfriend is hard.
Well,
it's like, I get it. It's sad. I feel for you, Amber, but, like, why not Mark? You're nothing. I'm sorry.
I think there's more to it than that, honestly. I think they did just a great job in the earlier episodes with it, and in the later episodes, I thought there was more to her character than that. I don't know, but I mean, again, it's like, I think everybody can agree she's like one of the weakest, if not the weakest. It's more so people saying like, yes, we agree, but still has a place in this show. Still, still very well done for the most part, and has like lots of meaning to the character. But I mean, for season 3, though, I mean, yeah, they did everything they needed to with the character. So yeah, they probably won't, but there'll probably be like appearances here and there. Well, the main thing I want to ask though, well, not really ask, because I don't want Gray to actually, or anybody to actually tell me, to spoil it in the comics. Again, I don't read the comics until I see up to certain points with it, but I wonder if at like any point in the future of this show, there'll be certain time jumps, and then we'll see the progression where like certain characters grow old, like around Mark, while he's like still young.
That is a good question. I don't know. I definitely haven't read that far up or anything like that, but don't think they'd be able to do that for a while, since this imminent threat is supposed to happen within, like, I think they gave him a year or something like that. So I don't think we'll see any until after this next arc of whatever is to come, because there's an invasion coming shortly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that could be interesting. So, yeah.
I'm not giving any spoilers. What's her name said it. If he didn't agree, then what's his name would, I can't remember. She said a name would be coming back, or implied her boss would be coming back. So I think that's going to be the next threat that we see, and that should be happening soon. So, and the other good news is, I guess the animation studio, they had started work much sooner, so there shouldn't be like a year and a half
they said
in
it
between
could be like
seasons,
released by the end of this year,
which would be great.
Maybe wait a year, because like I want quality. I don't want them to just rush through things and say, "Oh, we are ready to give you more content." I want it to be on par with
Well,
season
technically,
2.
it has been a year because they just had this stupid delay for
Mhm.
to try to gather more hype or milk it, but it was stupid in the long run. It kind of ruined the momentum. But they already finished all 8 episodes. They said by the end of last year when they were releasing the first 4. So technically, it would just be a year actually.
And the delay wasn't like they had to write it or anything like that. That just the delay was they weren't sure whether they were picked up or anything like that. So it took a while, and then they actually started production on it. Where this, they were told ahead of time, so they were able to just keep production going. So it's not like there's lesser quality or anything like that. Hopefully, because it is all pulling from source material, and they seem to be doing it very smart on this one. So I hope there's no drop in quality. I'm not seeing any signs that there would be. It looks like they just kind of worked out the production time frame on it.
Yeah. Um, I think it is on Amazon Prime. I think.
It is. These are all Invincible and Adam Eve are all Prime
Yeah.
ones. But
Yeah.
it's over. But maybe you can catch up and join us on season 3, which shouldn't be a whole year away. We'll see.
Yeah, and I like it so much. This show is just wow. I adore it. Straight up, it's a boys that didn't go wrong. Because I do think the boys went wrong after one season. Like season 1 was a blast, was a masterpiece, but anything after is bad. Um, so yeah. Um, I'm wondering if any of you would like to add more to this really exciting discussion. I guess not.
I think we're good. Just I love everything that happened in episode
Yep.
7, and I can't say enough about that fun part where they're talking about animation and like how you can get away with cheating different panels and stuff.
Oh yeah, that
That
was
whole
great.
scene was awesome.
Yeah, episode 5 just fucking incredible to me. Probably my
Mhm.
favorite.
Yeah, season 2, amazing one. Anyway, Gray, what do you have going on your end of the internet?
Things. I think the next thing is I'm now on Charles Willis Gredia's Showbiz show. So I think it's Monday nights. He goes through the box office over the weekend and kind of gives kind of some showbiz news, if you will. So that's been kind of
Nice.
fun. He's got like kind of a panel of some interesting takes on there. So it's been fun to kind of hop into that. So that's probably the next thing. Other than that, check out our podcasts and then the Thinkers every Thursday on That Darn Kiddas channel.
Yeah. So thank you a lot, Cole and Gray. And the video making on my end of the internet. We got a Walking Dead video eventually. We got a Naruto video eventually. Like it's all eventually because I'm a project builder, you know. I like to make videos and such.
Mhm.
So yeah. You, Cole, do you have anything new coming up?
For the most part, no. Again, there's supposed to be some couple streams this week with other people with the spare time I had. A limited time nowadays, but at least at the moment. But they all just randomly got sick this week, so they're recovering from that instead. So instead, yeah, nothing really in at the moment, but yeah, just I'll try to be more active on Letterbox. So I mean, if anybody wants to check out there, then sure. Otherwise, yeah, no, not really.
Another great week. Anyhow, this is it for now. Tuesday we will have the REDBLUE podcast, and maybe we will be blessed and lucky to have Cole again if he is available.
Yeah, well, if I am available this Tuesday, then it will probably be only for one film mainly because yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan. Well, maybe two. I'm not the biggest fan of like just discussing the James Bond films. Not that I hate them or love them. I'm just like a lot of them
Oh,
are
but
kind
this
of the
is
same to me.
not one of the good ones. This is a different one we're talking about this week, though.
You
I
only
liked
love
it.
boys? Of course you did. Wow. And I'm
That
sure you're
says a
gonna
lot
love
about
the
you, sir.
one. Yeah, I'm sure you're gonna love
Well,
the one where they do yellow face. I'm sure.
I still had issues, but like I know it's racist, but hey, it's
But
entertainment,
wait,
you know.
wait, is that actually the one? Hold on.
That you only live
This
twice
is the
is
one with a
really
bunch of ninjas.
racist. Yeah, that one is really
Wait, it is
racist.
this one. Oh yes, this was the one I was talking about. Yes, the yellow face. And you did it. You love
Uh
that
huh.
moment. We need to
Um,
go. Need to go, go under the skies. Puts on
cannot
yellow
wait to talk
face.
about
And you
it.
gotta love the wig they put on Sean Connery in this one too. Amazing.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I might be here for to talk about that one then, because that'll be hilarious. But yeah, and then I want to roast Sonic, so I'm if I'm available. Okay, yes, I could actually, if I do show up this Tuesday, then I could talk about all four, I guess. But I've already talked about Guardians, so I don't really want to with that one again. But so I'll
Yeah,
let Gray and Alex go there. But
but
I am, if I
that
don't know, then I will at least listen to it because I curious to hear your thoughts on Kiss Kiss Bang Bang since you said you loved it so much.
yeah, that you know what's funny? I went into Garden of the Galaxy for the team. I was like, I don't think I will review it. I will watch it again for the podcast and such, like to be able to follow and such. But after rewatching it, I was like, you know what? I think I can actually improve on the review I already did. So I decided to mark down notes. So I
Yeah,
changed my mind on that one because at first I was like, I will rewatch. This is a sure thing I need to rewatch, and I did. And I was like, you know what? I was wrong on one of the issues I had in the past. So because of that, I will actually
yeah.
take some
Well,
notes, and I did.
I'm sure that
Wow,
would be the case
growth.
with many things. I'm sure if you rewatched the menu, then you would notice that because there were so
Well,
many things you got.
most most of my issues with Guardian 2 are the same, but there's one that got changed because I was actually wrong on the thing.
Yes, and then there's one thing with it as well that I think you got so wrong with the villain, but but also Guardians 3, you should rewatch that because I think your
No,
opinion was a bit influenced by Jaded. I will just say that.
no,
Yeah,
no,
I haven't seen
no.
3, so I'm looking
I,
forward to it once we finally get to it, but
I,
I'm not watching it on my own
I
time.
the third one, I did share my thoughts before Jada talked.
yeah, I'm just fucking with you, but I
Yeah,
mean,
you're fucking with me, bro.
yeah,
I have genuine issue with
no,
that
I don't
one.
understand why
I
you hated it so much though.
I liked it, but I thought that was a bad movie.
How is that okay?
I
I
liked
don't
it,
get I don't
but
get this
I
logic.
thought that was a bad movie. The second one is horrendous. I will still rewatch the second one, but I don't think I
Yes,
will
and I
I will
listened to
review
your
it.
issues on the third one, and I don't get them. It's like, sure, it's like
I stick by it. I stick by the third one. The third one
it's
is the
like,
perfect review.
okay, sure, the issues you mentioned in the third one, the quote unquote issues, they're there, but they're very like, all of them are very minor nitpicks. So it's like that
I
makes
don't
them
care. I
bad.
liked it. I will have fun rewatching it, but I don't know if I will take notes, except if I realize I was wrong. But
Jesus.
we'll see how it goes.
Well, I hope you realize that.
So there's no hope then. Okay.
No,
Okay.
the
Yes.
first one I did change, so maybe I will change with the third
Yeah,
one. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
oh, great. You've seen
The
the menu, right?
the
The menu? Yes.
Yeah. So, like for one example, God, if you want to have a good laugh, you should watch his the menu review and also his Scream review. But in the menu review, holy fuck, I wasn't paying attention at the time, well, because I was doing something. But I rewatched that video. He missed so many things that he called issues. So like the guy who was like the captain of the boat, he was like, it feels very far fetched, that he would be that, even he would be in on it as well. But if you watch carefully, after he revealed himself, he put on a chef coat, so he's actually one of the
Yeah,
cooks.
he's one of the cooks.
and Jada roasted this shit, so I'm not crazy.
Yeah, well, it's
I
Jaden.
just had the wrong reasons.
Listen, no, listen. All right, Jaden admitted to Mrs. while they were watching it that he liked it until he thought they fucked up on it because it didn't do what he wanted it to do. And you see, that's Jaden. All right, so you know what?
Jada is amazing. I told him come back, man. We cover Guardian. I hope he
Oh
comes
fuck
back.
no! He
Hell
roasted it
yeah.
one time. Does he really need to roast it twice?
Yeah, Jaded is amazing. I miss that guy, man.
Good
Like,
fucking lord.
I was rewatching Flickinflation, and these are the
No,
best
no,
moment of the
don't
podcast.
you should
Jaded
wait.
Rants.
You should wait to bring him back for No Way Home. That's what you should do.
No, we always bring him back when he can. That's the deal. Yeah, I've seen most of the MCU, so I'll always send in the link until he comes back.
Jesus fuck.
Anyhow, Jaded rants are the best rants.
Okay, well that is
Props to
true.
you.
His rants are the best rants. I just got dumb watching that Silver Surfer video he uploaded today right before doing this stream here.
I need to see it as well. It's like
Yeah,
entertainment.
I'm assuming he's
entertainment.
completely happy with the casting choices.
Oh, well, it's exactly what I predicted knowing him. He would be like, you idiots. So you're all fucking angry that, it's a female Silver Surfer. It's like, who cares? All right, I'm not pissed that it's a female Silver Surfer. I'm pissed because I know it's going to be fucking another stupid MCU film filled with a bunch of stupid. It's like, and that exactly happened. And then he also brought up the Rise of the Silver Surfer film. None of you, liked it, so why do you care about this now? He brought that up.
Well, because it was a man before.
Jaded is the boss. Jaded is
It's
the boss.
weird because it's not even the same character. Like the Silver Surfer that we know is Norrin Rad, and on his home planet, his mother died, and their ritual is to bond somebody to a grieving child for life, and that happens to be is it Shaolin Ball is her name, and she happens to be the one that this girl just got cast to play. So it's like, it's not necessarily that she's even necessarily going to be the same character. Also, we know that it takes place in the 60s, so it's either a different universe or something is going to happen with them. So
I will say, though, I do think the actress they picked for it is a great fit.
For sure. She's doing a Madonna biopic, and she just won like 3 Emmys for Ozarks, and I think she's about to do a Wolfman movie that's going to be released too.
Yeah, well, I heard about that Wolfman film. Joker talked about it a lot because he kind of liked the Wolfman films and like the one with Anthony Hopkins, but I heard that they might have scrapped it because somebody had to drop out, and then they didn't want to do it without him. But that's just what I heard. The film might actually already be complete. I might be thinking of something else that he was talking about, involving a Wolfman film, but I don't know.
They chose some weird actors for this. So Pedro Pascal is supposed to be Reed Richards in this.
That's actually the only one I don't like. All the others I think actually are good fits. I think Vanessa Kirby is an excellent actress.
Vanessa Kirby. That's the one that I couldn't remember off the top.
She's in a real film and not fucking Hobbs and Shaw. She is a excellent actress. Such Watch Pieces of a Woman and other films like that. And also I think the guy they got to play. Sorry, what's his name again? Johnny Blaze. What is that his name?
Yeah, I think it's Johnny Blaze.
Sorry, it's been ages.
But the Human Flame.
It's been ages since I've seen.
God damn it! I keep misspeaking.
Yeah,
and then they're talking about bringing Galactus in, and it's rumored that Javier Bardem might be playing Galactus. So it's there's some interesting casting in this one.
Yeah,
I don't know where they're going with it.
But I think all of them for the most part are actually good fits. Javier Bardem. He's been misused in a lot of films lately, so I hope this is different. But I think the rest of the cast are actually great fits for the characters, besides one. And that's the main one. I don't understand why they picked Pascal. That's the only one I don't like.
I don't hate the guy. I don't see him as a Reed Richards type, but yeah.
He's too old for the role at this point, isn't he?
I would kind of think so, but the 60s were a different time.
I will say, though, better than
John
John.
Will kill him off anyway, so it's fine. They will kill him.
Look, he's better than John Krasinski, but that's not saying anything because he sucked.
But yeah, to end that small tangent, I think the hardest thing to do for me when I got the compilation is cutting Jaded rants. If I didn't add 5 hours video already, I would have kept the entire Jaded segment. But I needed to cut it, and that's
because he'll rap for an hour, and it's all
it's heartbreaking. It's
I don't think you can call it a supercut though if you're using the full length thing. It's supposed to be
just call it a Snyder cut.
Yeah, you're Snyder cutting it. You're giving us the Snyder cut of this.
Well, I didn't record the entire thing, but I kept a lot. I kept a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I will say in the future, what might be better is, if there's like moments that are like hilarious and they're like, let's say each of them are around like 3 to 5 minutes long. What you do is only put in like 20 seconds of the best moments from that. And then what you do is in the descript with timestamps for all the moments. And then in the description, post links and timestamps to all of them where they're at, if they want to see the full things. I think that's what you do in the future. So then it's not too long.
Or I should just do like right after each stream. That could also help because I did wait too long. I wanted to do it like since week 50, but I waited, and now I see like week 80. I
Yeah.
was like, oh shit, I didn't start.
Yeah.
I decided to start way too late. But yeah, I had a blast today. Thank you guys. It's a bit sad K Dot didn't come, but I guess I will talk to him later about Invincible.
Yeah. I
Um,
guess Nerd Man grounded him.
yeah, he grounded him. This shall mark the end of today, and I wish you all, everyone in the chat, a great rest of your day.